Everyone, so for this lesson we're going to be looking at rounding and truncating. Just before we start though, thank you to those of you who completed the survey. I've tried to make some changes, and if you can give me some feedback and let me know if you think it's any better, then I'd really appreciate that. So, round 1462 to the nearest 10, 100 and 1000. So, if we've got 1462, we want to round to the nearest 10. So we're going to underline the tens column and look at this 2. Now remember, if it's 0, although that doesn't really matter, 1, 2, 3 or 4, it rounds down. The number stays the same. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, it goes up to the next one. So if we look at the 2 is going to keep it the same. It's not going to change it. So 1462 to the nearest 10 is 1460. If you think about it, if we had 1460 here and 1470 here, which is the next 10, 2 is going to be about here. It is definitely closer to 1460. This time though, we want to look at the hundreds. So we're going to underline our 100. Now what is this 6 going to do? Well, if we have 1,400 on this side and 1,500 on this side, the 60 means it's a little over halfway. So it's going to be closer to 1,500. So that's our answer. And that's on 1,000. So we're going to underline our 1,000. So we've got 1,000 and 2,000. So where is 1462 going to lie on this scale? Well, it's a 4, so it's going to go down. It must be closer to 1,000. So the answer is 1,000. Round 34.548 to the nearest 1, so to the nearest whole. So if we underline the 4, how is that 5 going to affect it? Well, it's a 5, so it's going to round up. It's going to increase this digit by 1, so it's going to be 35. To one decimal place. So we underline our first decimal place and we look at the 4. Does 4 round it up or round it down? It rounds it down, so it's going to stay the same. So 34.5, because it's closer to 34.5 than 34.6. And the last one, 2 decimal places. So we underline our second decimal place. How is the 8 going to affect it? Well, the 8 is definitely going to round us up. So 34.55. And the last one is something I know you guys struggle with. I think it's just you haven't come across it in the curriculum yet. So it does tend to trip us up. So if we've got 1462, the first significant figure is the first non-zero digit. So it's the biggest number, the biggest place value rather, that isn't 0. So in our case, it's going to be our thousands column. So in this question, rounding to one significant figure is exactly the same as asking us to round to the thousands column. So we've got our first significant figure. How is the 4 going to affect that? It's going to round down, so the answer is 1,000. Okay, this is our first significant figure. This is our second significant figure. So this time in this question, it's the same as rounding to the hundreds, meaning it's going to be 1,500. And lastly, we want our third significant figure. So first, second, third. So this time it's the same as rounding to the tens, 1,460. But what if we have a non-zero digit first? So we want to round to the first significant figure. So we cross out all the non-zero, we cross out all the 0 numbers. So get rid of that and that and that. That makes this our first significant figure. It is the first number that is not 0. So that means we're going to round to this. So in this question, it's the same as rounding to the third decimal place. the 2 rounds down, so 0.005. Again, get rid of the zeros. First significant figure, second significant figure. So how is the 0 going to affect it? It's going to make it round down, so 0.052. And the last one, we're going to round to 3 significant figures. So get rid of the zeros. 1, 2. Now this is the third significant figure. Even though it's a 0, because it's included within the number, it's not just acting as a place value, as a placeholder, because it actually has some worth. It's 0 thousandths. That is our third significant figure. So is the 4 going to make it round up or down? Down. So it's 0.00520. So the zeros have some worth only if they're not acting as placeholders, only if they are incorporated within the number. Okay, what about truncating then? Well, truncating is similar, except this time we don't bother rounding. We just get rid of the numbers altogether and if necessary, fill them with placeholders. So for this one, 6,247, we're going to cut it off, so we want to truncate it to the tens. So that means everything after the tens, we don't want anymore. So it's going to be 624, and then we need the place value 0, the placeholder 0. We need to, if we just write 624, that's 624, and that's nothing like 6,247. Okay, so we still need to put the 0 in to make sure all the other numbers hold their value. 6247. So first significant figure, second significant figure. So we're going to keep that, and then everything afterwards is going bye-bye. So 62, and then because 62 is nothing like 6,247, we need our 2 zeros as placeholders. And then one significant figure. So that's our one significant figure, and then everything after that we want rid of. So 6 and then 3 placeholder zeros to keep the value. Truncate 0.8075. So 0.8075 to the units. So the unit is here and everything after that is going away. So the answer is just going to be 0 because we don't truncate. The units has no value here. So once we get rid of them, it doesn't make a difference. It's going to remain having no value. 0.8075. So 3 significant figures. So we're going to get rid of this because we want the first non-zero number, if you remember. So that's our first significant figure. This is our second, because remember, now it's incorporated in the number, it has some value. And that's our third. So that's the third one. We're going to get rid of that. 0.807. Now, if we put a 0 after that, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't add anything. It's not required as a placeholder, so we don't need to bother. And then the last one, 0.75. So 2 decimal places is here, and we're going to get rid of the rest of this lot. So 0.8. Now, even though the 0 has no value, 0.8 and 0.80 are exactly the same. It's like when you're rounding. It wants 2 decimal places. If you put 0.8, although it's worth the same, it's exactly the same number, it isn't 2 decimal places, so you're not going to get the mark. So 0.80 is our answer in this instance. Okay, have a go at the work on Shobi and then come back for the plenary. I would like you to arrange these cards to make the following. So we've got a decimal point, 0, 2, 3 and 4. And I want you to make these answers. So pause the video, have a go and press play when you're ready to see the answer. So 14.38 rounded to the units. So 14.38, if we round that, the units. So how is that 3 going to affect it? Wait, sorry, ignore that one. I don't think whoever wrote that question made that work. 318 rounded to the significant figures. So 1 significant figure, 2 significant figures. How is that 18 going to affect it? It's going to make this round up. So you're going to have 320. 2.4398 truncated to 2 decimal places. So this is the second decimal place. We're getting rid of the rest of that. So 2.43 and 4.2056 truncated to 3 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3 significant figures. Get rid of that. So 4.20. Don't forget, it wants the 3 significant figures, so you're going to give it to them. And that's it. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye.